classes. Usually my average is one class, maybe twice, 3 times a week. Sometimes I just don't feel like, so I don't. But today I felt like, so I had a small English class, my cousin's English class, very young, very cute. And after that, I also had a day work, very hard day at work. So I ate my dinner while watching Seinfeld and drinking some wine, and I had a great time. And I got into this feeling, I just want to do something, so I decided to make some ASMR video. Maybe plural, I do not know, videos. But I'm starting with the video. So, wine, wait a second. Red wine, by the way. And it's a special video because wine 1 and 2, I'm going to share with you my favorite books. One book, I need to remind myself, I'm gonna do a very easy editing to this video, and I'm gonna put the book name somewhere here. I'm very sorry, I cannot pronounce the name of the book. It's something in Bustini. It's Polish book by a Polish author. I really want to find the name. You know what? Let's look for it together. I need to find the name because I read it first time when I read it in Hebrew. That's the only book that I don't have physically with me because I think I got it. I used to live in a boarding school back in the Israels, and I'm saying the Israels for fun. Back in the Israels, I used to live in a boarding school for 6 years, and they had this kind of big library with PCs and stuff. And I rented it from there, from that library, and that was the book, and that's very important for me. That was the book that made me enjoy books for the first time. I think I read it when I was kind of late for 14, around maybe 16, 14, 15, 16, either of those, yeah. I'm not sure when exactly was that, but maybe 14, 16. And it made me laugh, cry, sit in suspense. I was sweating, and then actually keeping me at the edge of my seat. That was the book that made me like books. So it was a big turning point for me. I've been skateboarding for my young years. Skateboarding, punk music, and video games. And then that book made me want to have more books because for a very long time, for many years, I despised books. I hated them so much, especially because your parents trying to push you to read a book. So my mother always has this saying: if I did something stupid in the house, if I did a mistake, or if I played a video game for a long time, for her it was long time. 1 hour, it's not long if you like video games. Sometimes 1 hour is not enough. Nowadays it is. She used to tell me, go read a book, something like that. So your parents trying to push you to read a book, and you started hating the word book. So I hated books. So that book changed everything. Wow, for 5 minutes I spoke about that book and the wine. So let me find the name in Hebrew. Let me try to remember. I forgot the name in Hebrew. Maybe because the pressure of making the video and trying to get it right. up here if I get it. The favorite book. I love it, but I cannot find it, and I will get it again. And I want to get it in both, in English and in Hebrew again. Hebrew was the first time for me reading it, so I loved it. It's not going to be in chronological order, not at all, because I don't remember which of the books I read before, which was the last exactly. The last I do remember because I can see it here, but I don't know. So just whatever, you know. Another sip. Let me know if I'm speaking too fast for an ASMR video. The wine already got to my head, so I might mumble and speak too fast. First, in Hebrew, you read it from the right to the left. Lachshov, כמו Leonardo da Vinci. I think that the last part you understood. שבעת צעדים לקראת חשיבה גאונית. So לחשוב is to think, כמו, like Leonardo da Vinci. שבעת צעדים, 7 steps לקראת, toward, חשיבה גאונית, genius thought. רב מחיר בינלאומי, international bestseller by Michael J. Gelb. So it's, as the title says, it's many different points on Leonardo da Vinci's life, and I actually read it and I enjoyed every second of it. So you can see that I marked and wrote just different notes for myself. It speaks about what was it? go on Tipur Haguf. So in here, for example, how to stay healthy. So just different tips like stay away from stress, from prolonged stress, workout, food, because I think that many of us know that he was either vegetarian or vegan to some extent. Speaks about drawing, and it actually made me try and draw some, because I used to draw a lot as a child, but then I stopped. Really interesting book. I read it in Hebrew. I got it when I went to meet my family 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago. I went there after 5 years living here in Japan without meeting them. So I think it was 2 years ago, yeah. So I got a few books. That's one of them. The other most favorite, I read this book in Hebrew once, and I think then maybe twice or 3 times in that book, that original copy. Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. Japanese author. Very good. Very touching, slow-paced. I wouldn't recommend that book for people that usually finish to watch a movie that's supposed to be deep, or I don't know, like Interstellar, for example. Not very deep, but Interstellar, or not deep. Please erase the word deep. I think I'm gonna sneeze. It's not recommended to people that finish movies and go like, what was it about, or that looks stupid, or pointless. So pointless. That book is pointless. That story is pointless. Many of Murakami's books and stories are kind of pointless, and that's what I like about them. But of course, everybody has different opinions on books. That's the beauty with art, the beauty of art. You know, the artist, the creator, puts something out there and let other people to interpret whatever they want out of the creation. So I like this book and Murakami's books, but especially this one, because it's really pointless, and you have bits and pieces that you can put together. It is about something, of course. You have different titles, different things that he speaks about, like incest or fate, because he speaks about fate a lot here. meaninglessness. It's pointless, and that's what I like about it. All the small. If I imagine it, if I paint a picture for you, it's like being in a big. I use that reference. It's the second time I use it for something else. So if you're in the sea, big vast body of water, sea. It's very big, vast, scary. You're alone, and then you have small islands. You're on a raft, and from time to time you get on an island, and I don't know. You can touch the sand, and you kind of get a piece of hope. So many of his lines in here feel very empty for some reason, and then you have small pieces of warmth, of sand, of something grounded that you can feel. I don't know, again, this is the alcohol, this is the wine speaking now, the wine talking. Like it has a line here, somewhere almost in the, I don't know, middle, somewhere around here, I don't know, middle or about close to the end of the book, about food or coffee, and just reading it made me feel very warm. So it's kind of like ASMR through books. If you can imagine it, you imagine a scene and it gives you a very warm feeling, but it's really nothing. Just the main character sits somewhere, eats a sandwich and drinks disgusting coffee. That's what he says, something like that. And I felt warmth, like ASMR, very hard. So one of my favorites. I'm gonna read it again and again. It just comes and goes. Next, that's the last one I read. The Bhagavad Gita by, I'm afraid to mispronounce his name, Ignace Eswaran, maybe. Really good. I read it once, and I like this book so much that I wanted to keep it beautiful, without marks or anything. So I did not note anything here, but I have a notebook, a separate notebook where I read and write or copy lines and sentences from it. Kind of an eye-opener here and there. I actually found myself these days doing yoga, meditation, and reading. Found myself reading a chapter, closing it, and then just contemplating, thinking about what I just read. Recommended, even if you're not interested in Buddhism or Hinduism or whatever. It has many good points. Some of them you need to go and read something, an outside source to kind of clear it up, to make some clearance. Not clearance, to clear it up, to clear the things he wanted to say there. Not he, but the original author. But it's very easy to understand. It was translated and cleared up for us, this generation. Yeah, very recommended. The next one after that, I want to go and read some parts of the Upanishads. I think it's called, but I don't know exactly what they are. I'm not gonna even act like I know. I do not know. I just know the Upanishads, and I'm gonna read some of them. Next, another favorite of mine. I read this one for maybe 3 or 4 times. It's very small. In Hebrew, it's called Nechamat Zarim by Ian McEwan, or McEwan, yeah. In English, let me see if you can have the title here. Ian McEwan. It's very hard for me to pronounce. I do not know. Sorry. The Comfort of Strangers. I got it somewhere in Israel, back in the Israels, in a second-hand store, I think, for, I have no idea. something in the end that I do not want to spoil it for you. It's very small, very short. I can say that if you like, it's very similar to Kafka on the Shore. It speaks about passion, some blood spilling, loneliness, longing for connection, love. It happens in both books. I did not say that, but about this one. But of course, loneliness. It's longing for connection. So it's very similar in some way, and I can only tell you that it could shock some people to some extent. I'm not gonna say more. I enjoyed it. It was interesting, and in the end, it's kind of makes you scratch your head for a second and think. It's an eye opener. Different than that one, than this book, but it is an eye opener. A different one. Recommend it. I like this book. No, the title is not like. The title is I love. I love this book. Okay, a different genre. Many people have it. It's kind of to make a variation, of books. So, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was interesting to read. I actually sat down. This is one of the books, just like the Bhagavad Gita. One of those books that I actually took. I've been taking time from my day, my schedule to go sit down somewhere, drink coffee or tea, read, and make notes and signs, outside notes, many notes, and just learn the thinking pattern, because long story short, it says in here that education is very important, but not school's education. Education that if riches is what you're looking for, if money is what you want, you need to learn about money, and you cannot really ask the people that work in 9 to 5 about money because they do not understand it. You see so many entrepreneurs online speaking about that most of them making these classes that are a big rip-off, but it's very easy. You make some kind of lesson, you get money for it. Master classes that's speaking about nothing really, just kind of beating around the bush, about how to make money. So what I try to say is that, long story short, if you summarize it, it speaks about the different side of education, persistence, how to not to chase the money or work for the money with your time, but how to take money and make it work for you. I'm putting for you because it's very hard to fathom, because we did not learn this at school. Before reading this book, I used to say, and I still say, that school does not teach us how to do anything except from how to be a worker for some kind of company or some other person. And I'm lacking many of those skills. I'm not even good about selling myself on YouTube. I'm finding it hard to put the title, a pretentious title that says the best ASMR video. 99% of you will fall asleep watching it. That's good. Well, again, good. Self-commercializing. You need to know how to sell yourself. And he speaks vaguely about that. Yeah. But it's mostly how to use money and take those risks. By the way, from what I understand that person didn't become rich from all the things that he speaks about, but mostly from those books. Yeah, the books, the seminars, the master classes. He made good money on the book, but most of the starting money that he made from all those small stories he speaks about here with real estate. But most of it came from the book, and how famous he became from the fame. He has a very nice smile. Look at him. He looks like he's in his 40s, but now he's not as young. You know, time flies. He's a different person. Maybe less or more successful. I do not know. It was a nice book to read. Again, one more eye opener. If you're speaking about the less deep, more superficial, three-dimensional, eye-opening books, eye-opener books. Another one is Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea. For me, that book, I read it in the Israels, in the Hebrew version. Oh, it smells great, old. And Hemingway, more from Hemingway. I need to try to read more of his stuff. That book was very ASMR for me as well. Very basic. I read it very long time ago. I cannot tell you what is it about. If you would give me an home assignment, homework to write a book report and tell you what it's about, like many other people, I can tell you that it speaks about a man that was dragged out in the sea, trying to survive. If I think about deeply, maybe about life. I don't know. I will certainly fail in this home assignment because I still need to read more, but it made big impact on me, in a sense that I want to read it again. So that's why it's in this list of my favorite books. But I cannot tell you more about that because I didn't make my mind. Alright, next one. J.D. Sillinger, Out of Sun, Bestea Shipon. The original title is very old. J.D. Sillinger, The Catcher in the Rye. Yeah. The Catcher in the Rye. So that's in Hebrew. Actually, some of the commenters asked me a long time ago, and I'm very sorry if you're watching it. If you're watching this video, somebody asked me to read something in Hebrew, and it was maybe 1 year ago. And I had this book somewhere here next to me, but I forgot about it, and I'm very sorry for that. I will do some Hebrew reading ASMR video, just that I didn't have it in my priority, so I'm very sorry. Another great book that speaks about loneliness, the want for connection, closeness, some pretentious righteousness. It's not complicated. Again, it's very pointless, like I used to say about Murakami, Kafka on the Shore. And when I say pointless, I do not mean it in a bad way. It has no meaning for me. I mean, it is a good meaning. I like the pointlessness. I like those small islands between the pointlessness, between the vastness of the words, the lonely feeling. I like those small, warm. It's situations, islands, and this book has many of these. A lot of people would not like it, but I did, and I read it 3 times. I think I'm gonna read it again. Comes and goes. Oh, the other books are all in Hebrew. Another Haruki Murakami's book. It's a second-hand book. It was almost destroyed, so I needed to fix it a bit, and that I didn't do. So in Hebrew, it's Jarl no Vegi by Haruki Murakami. Jarl no Vegi, Norwegian Wood. Jarl is a wood, forest, Norwegian forest, Norwegian woods. So that's Norwegian woods, Norwegian wood in Hebrew. Again, many of those Murakami's books, aside from maybe what I'm talking about when I'm running, and some other documentary books that he wrote, loneliness, love, meaning of life, many other words that can come that are connected. Again, many pointless situations. Speaks about memories, music. He has a lot of music and food, mostly pasta. Many of those, his characters making pasta and music. Yes, Beatles, classical music, very nice. I did learn about different titles and composers from these books. Very good. Again, one of my favorites. 3-4 times read through it. The last one, maybe I can find another one here. I think I missed some books. Maybe I'll make another title. The Koshelagashas in Hebrew by Sipuro Amiti Shel. Sipuro Amiti, the real story of Tom Brown. Tom Brown, כפי שסופר לוויליאם ג'ון Watkins, has been told to William John Watkins. The name in English is that's also an old book. It had I got many of those books from my mother from the Israel. She sent it to me. She shipped it here in a box, and I think I'm pretty sure they came by on this, by traveling on the sea, and they got wet for some reason. I do not know if from the seawater or the rain, because somebody didn't care much. Part of the box was wet, and some of the books got soaked. So that book actually got it pretty hard. But I've been able to fix some of it. I mean, try it. The title here, The True Story, Tom Brown is told. The Tracker. So the real title is The Tracker. I think that the person that they speak about here started or was the reason for. I'm not sure about that. Sorry, I'm not keen on the titles, on the details here. Sorry. Started some kind of an organization or a group. I think they called, in Hebrew they call them something like the forest keepers or protectors, some kind of word. I'm trying to translate it. I'm not sure what is the right title for them, for those people that speak about survival and green living, trying to get close with nature, tracking animals, but mostly just living greener, enriching life. So I think it sparked a movement. Maybe even people how do you call them? Those people that eat only things that fell from trees and natural habitats. They do not grow farm as we trees in order to create more crops. They wait for something to be ripe, and only if it fell down to the ground they would pick it up and try to eat it, and eat it, not try but eat it. They survive on those things. Something like fruitarians, when the things are ripe. I'm not sure, sorry. So that book tells a story of a child. Again, it's a story that told to somebody, so I wouldn't, I take it with a grain of salt, of a child that grown somewhere in America, and he came across another child that was Native American, and both of them were very interested about nature, animals, and finding tracks and just being in nature. And they were mentored by a guy that called his name in here, I tried to translate it, Stalking Wolf, in his Native American name. And the Stalking Wolf guy taught them everything they need to know about survival, living off, the world, surviving only with a knife, and creating your own camps and sleeping areas, all those things, very hardcore from very young age. Something that I don't think I could. I never been very strong, I've been a very lazy kid. But I think that learning things, learning those things when you're young, is an amazing opportunity, an amazing lessons that you can take to your adulthood. And then that person actually gave, that person or the person that was told about this, I'm not sure, by the way, giving lectures, and maybe his son or something like that, giving lectures and having classes. So he also makes a good living out of it, and living the way he thinks that we meant to live or want to live, and a way that seems smarter for us to live by. Many things I want to say, but I'm kind of holding myself because of the wine. Just it gets to my head, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna say something harsh or weird, and then I will need to erase the video and never upload it. It will be gone forever, somewhere in the quantum field. Alright, boys and gals, let me just take a look if I have some other books in here, because sometimes I do. I have nothing else. Yeah, these are pretty much my favorite books. I've been asked to make a book collection video, so that's kind of a small taste. I have maybe, it's not a big collection, it's a very small one that I'm just starting to build here in Japan. Maybe all this pile, if you look at it, I cannot really get it by size. I just don't want it to tumble down and make a lot of noise, make a lot of racket here. So maybe that pile, multiply it by, I want to say 7 or 8. So that's the collection I have. Some of them I read, most of them I did not, because you buy more than you actually sit down to read. Gathering, hunters and gatherers, so I like gathering things. I like to hunt hunt for books. I like going to different media shops and second-hand bookstores. And in Japan, it's very hard, challenging to find English books. Not to say Hebrew, you will not find Hebrew books, so I need to get them shipped from the Israels. So I am building the collection, but I am building it faster than I'm actually sitting down to read through. So I have a few more books to show you. That's in the full collection, but it's challenging to take here because we have 3 cats and a dog, and we're living right above, under a airplane route. So it's kind of discouraging me from taking the videos. I'm making ASMR usually only at night, and now my wife is sleeping in the other room, very close to the book stand. So I don't know. I'm just making a lot of excuses. Anyhow, I will make it happen, even if we will have to sit down and suffer through airplanes above us, dogs, cats barking and meowing. Now, before we finish, the first book that I was looking for. I'm trying to write it in Hebrew. I forgot the name. I cannot. Maybe. No. Yeah. And wow. Even if I don't know, I cannot remember the name, and I know that after I press stop recording, I will get it back. I have it on the end on my tongue, but I cannot get it now. Sorry, boys and gals. It happens sometimes. Alcohol and not thinking reading, or even remembering the original title's name. No, I cannot. I remember only one part of it, but I don't remember the other part in Hebrew. I didn't speak Hebrew for a long time. Alright, if I remember it, I will put it in the description, or maybe add something in the editing part. And if I did not edit, it's because I didn't remember and I just decided to upload it like that. So sorry. Thank you very much. See you next time. Ta-ta.